also want you to feel good too. February is Heart Health Month, so we have some of the latest insights on keeping your heart strong. McDaniel Nutrition is a team of registered dietitians offering personalized nutrition services to individuals and corporations. So joining us live to share more on those heart healthy tips, we have friend of the show, registered dietitian Jennifer McDaniel. Jennifer, welcome back to Show Me St. Louis.
It's a pleasure to be here. You know, nutrition science is always evolving, so it's wonderful to have these updates when it comes to taking care of our hearts.
Yes, and I especially love too that not only we're talking heart health, we're two women talking about heart health.
Yes, right. The #1 killer is heart disease for sure. And my own father had a quadruple bypass surgery at the young age of 52, so this definitely runs in my own family, so it is near and dear to my heart. And one of the first things that we're talking about today is a new lab value that we can know about called lipoprotein A.
Okay.
And lipoprotein A is completely genetic.
All right.
So you can't do anything from a diet and exercise standpoint to really impact it, but yet it's really important to know. For example, my cholesterol is pretty good, but my genetic lipoprotein A is very high. So it's important that my doctor knows that about me because we're going to go about treating, you know, our cases differently when we have a larger body of evidence to use.
Right. Okay, so it's really just giving you that power of knowing that you have this. And does it matter then the cholesterol? I know when it's high, when it's low, especially it could be different.
Right, all of these numbers matter, right? And I think one of the most important numbers that we know is called LDL, or little devils, is what I like to say to remember, because you want that to be low.
Okay.
We want that to usually be less than 100.
Okay.
So LDL is one of the most important numbers that we need to know for heart health, because lipoprotein A gives us additional information.
Okay, perfect. So now let's say we know more about our numbers, but we really are now trying to look at our foods. What are our foods doing? And I love this first one because I love beans.
Good, good.
So I love that we're talking about beans this morning.
Yes. I mean, in all forms too, right?
Yeah.
A lot of people might avoid canned beans, but rinsing canned beans reduces 40% of the sodium. But beans are one of the best sources of good fiber for heart health.
Yeah.
And the dietary guidelines, which come out every 5 years, are actually moving beans from the vegetable group to the protein group to emphasize eating more plant protein for heart health. So putting things like beans and soy above animal protein because the evidence is so strong for eating beans. And so I encourage my clients to get about 2 to 3 servings of beans in about half of a cup of serving per week.
And you know what's great about beans too is you could kind of sneak it into the meals.
Yes. Black bean tacos versus beef, or even adding black beans to beef tacos, you know, adding them to soup, salads. Yes, it can be pretty easy.
It's a really easy addition. Okay, so then this next one, I feel like there could be a lot of confusion about this.
Yes.
Saturated fats.
Right, so saturated fats really drive up that bad cholesterol that I just talked about, LDL. Saturated fats are solid at room temperature, so you want to think about butter, right, versus olive oil, right? So we get saturated fats in high-fat meats, full-fat dairy products, fried foods, sweets. And saturated fats, we want to have less than 10% of our calories. Now, for people like myself who have high risk, no more than 6% of our calories from saturated fat. So what does that mean? It means on a 2,000 calorie diet, which a lot of us kind of eat somewhere near that, that's looking at no more than, say, 20 to 13 grams of saturated fat. So we want to look at our food labels, and we can see saturated fat is on the food label. Usually I say no more than 2 grams of saturated fat per serving is sort of a good rule of thumb to look for.
Okay, no more than 2 grams on the back of that nutrition label.
Yes.
Okay, I take everything you say, and I do, like, we all take fish oil around here because of you. So you really are changing our lives. So I'm hopeful that you're changing other people's lives as well. And I love that you mentioned that part about your own family history, because you really are such a face of health. So to know that that's something that you're thinking about is really important. There's a lot of power when it comes to knowledge.
Absolutely. And we all have our own unique genetic predispositions, you know. So if you come from a family history of heart disease, we do have to be quite a bit more intentional about how we care for ourselves. So this subject is very important to me.
Yeah, well, thank you so much, Jennifer, for joining us today. And we have her son, Henry, here, who's been watching from behind the scenes. I think one day we're going to have Chef Jack and Chef Henry.
Oh, that would be awesome. Chef Patrick might be jealous too, so you can't forget him.
Chef Patrick. I want the whole McDaniel family here, if I'm being honest. Okay, McDaniel Nutrition Therapy. You can find all that information right there on your screen, and to learn more, kck.com/showme.